That's what we do, man.
Ride a scooter straight through hell, man.
Yeah.
Just riding scooters through the living room, and we're live. Hey, welcome to episode 110. We made it 110 episodes to episode 110 of the motherfucking podcast. This is, of course, the official podcast of the international power rock combo motherfucking ruckus from Denver and Chicago, respectively. I'm Aaron Howell.
I'm Gordo. Hello.
Yeah, and we are joined this afternoon by some old buddies in a new band doing some very exciting stuff, long distance via Skype from Seattle, Washington. You guys are in Seattle, right?
That is correct. Yep.
Okay. I wasn't sure if y'all packed up and moved somewhere or if you convinced Mikey, if you convinced everybody to move to Alaska, or if Jason convinced everybody.
Alaska. Yeah.
Yeah. So I wasn't sure where you guys are at yet, but please welcome to the show my good friends Sean, Jason, and Mikey from the Rock and Roll Combo Plagiarizer. How you guys doing?
Hi, dudes.
Hey, man.
Fantastic. How are you?
Gordo, how you doing?
Doing all right.
Oh,
Doing
by the way,
okay.
guys, this is Gordo. Gordo,
Hello.
this is guys.
Gordo.
Nice to meet you, man.
Yeah, man.
Nice to meet you.
So right on. Jason, you got here just in time. We just went live, man.
That's wonderful.
Dude, it's so good to see your face. I haven't talked to you in...
It's been a long time.
It's been, I want to say it's been close to 10 years since I talked to you last. It's probably been 7 years since we talked to each other last.
It was when I was in Iowa.
Yeah, it was when you were in Iowa, man. So actually, if you guys don't mind, I wanna catch up with what Jason's been doing here for a second. What brought you back to Seattle? Like, what made you decide to head back and start jamming with these guys again? Because you were like very serious about the new band last I talked to you. So tell me kind of what went down with the other project you were working on.
Yeah, no problem. Well, I got successful really fast and had a couple issues with things, and I crashed and burned really fast. So I stayed there and got healthy. I didn't know if I was going to be playing again after that record. And I don't know why I moved back to Seattle, but I know why now. Was to be with these guys. It's obvious that was the reason.
Sometimes fate pulls you, man.
I kind of retired, man. I didn't know if I was going to play again, and I ran into these guys, and it just magically happened. It was like, hey, we need a drummer, and I'm like, well, I want to play hard rock drums, so let's do this, you know. And we had just done an All Bets on Death reunion show right before that, so that kind of got me going, like, oh yeah, I have to do this. So
yeah, so that's something that we should mention to folks. People who are Ruckus fans know who All Bets on Death are, because we are sure to give you guys a nod every time we play it live, and it's listed in the credits of the album. But you guys wrote All My Heroes Are in Hell. Like, you guys are the original band that did All My Heroes Are in Hell, and we borrowed it from you since you guys were kind of going in different directions for a while, and you guys actually got together and played kind of an impromptu reunion show, correct?
Yeah, it was real fun.
Tell me what brought that about, the All Bets on Death reunion.
Well, you know, it wasn't really the best circumstances. A friend of ours passed away, and we were one of his favorite bands. And so at his service, kind of his service, I guess, it was a memorial, you know, it was a party.
Celebration of life type of thing, yeah.
So, you know, we played, and the guys that used to be the Spittin' Cobras that are now Detonator played with us. And, you know, like, we were a couple of his favorite local bands, so we just sent him off with the party, man, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's this unfortunate but beautiful thing that sometimes it takes either someone getting married or someone dying in order to get a band back together to jam one more time. And it's like, you know, this horribly tragic thing, but yet you see it so often lead to, hey, man, that was a lot of fun. We should get this back together, or we should work on a new project or something like that. Like, I've seen that happen multiple times where that kind of becomes the inciting event. Would you say that that's what kind of inspired you to get Plagiarizer up and going, or?
Yeah, Plagiarizer, I was already kind of working on it. Actually, me and Sean were already kind of playing a little bit. We had a different drummer who was kind of flaky, whatever, he's cool, but he just didn't work out.
Right.
And so we were kind of looking, and then that All Bets on Death show came up, and Jason was like, he was there playing his drums. I was like, man, you're a good drummer.
I didn't even know you were a drummer, dude.
I thought you were a bass player, but you should play drums for us.
Yeah.
We did it, and it was easy, man. It just fell right into place.
Right. Well, and then before Plagiarizer, you guys did have Motogeist going with Zach from All Bets on Death, and Vaughn played with you too, correct? Or Sean, were you playing on that?
No, I wasn't.
No, I'm trying to remember.
There were 3 people in Motogeist that were at some point in All Bets on Death. So there's Justin, who was twice. He was the bass player. He was a bass player at the beginning and a bass player in the end.
Right.
And then Zach, obviously, was playing lead guitar, and me. So it was almost the same as All Bets on Death, just different drummer.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
So I wasn't familiar with your band, but I definitely know that song, All My Heroes Are in Hell. Just like MF Ruckus blows that up like almost every time. Like it's an amazing song. So
Yeah.
congrats on that.
I don't
that's
think
a great song.
I don't think I take credit for that one. It just came to me in a dream. And I woke up and I called Zach. I was like, "Hey, I dreamed of this song. We got to write it today." We recorded it that day. Like
That's
like,
awesome.
That's what's
It's a great
funniest
fucking song, man.
It is a great song, and the
I
Blind
love it.
Staggers do it too.
Yeah, they play the
And-
hell out of that song.
Yeah, they do a great job on it, especially with Laura singing on it. It's just amazing. But one really fun moment that we had on our last Northwest tour was that song had traveled from Seattle to Denver to Chicago, and then Blind Staggers and Ruckus did a tour together, and we got together with the Motogeist guys, played at Tony V's in Everett, and all three bands got up on stage and did All My Heroes Are in Hell together, and it was a beautiful moment. It was a lot of fun to be a part of.
it was really fun.
I actually talked to Tony V today on accident because Siri doesn't know the difference between Tony Lee and Tony V. And I asked, and I was like, Siri, call Tony Lee. And Siri goes, calling Tony the Fifth. And I'm like, who the fuck is Tony the Fifth? And then fucking Tony V picks up and he's like, what's up, man? What's going on? Da 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 da. Caught up. I guess they're actually having shows at Tony V's again.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he's only allowed to sell 80 tickets. But then we started talking about it, and I'm like, man, we'd be lucky if we sold 80 tickets to a show. So it's like you can now, it's like easier than ever to sell out. You know what I mean?
You guys come up. We'll play with you at Tony V's, man.
Sounds like a fucking date, dude.
Dude, we've got to go on tour during COVID so that we can sell out all of our shows, man.
Every fucking show is sold out,
20
man.
people, baby.
Oh yeah.
Granny Tweed is playing next weekend at the Oriental, but there can only be 50 people in there. So we're like,
my
yeah!
We sold out the Oriental.
Sold out that crowd.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dude, that would be so great to make a T-shirt that just like has like all your tour dates and all of them are sold out, and then like in a little asterisk at the bottom be like maximum allowable capacity during COVID 50 people. You know, it's like I've been noticing that bigger bands are playing smaller venues over the last few years because the music market has gotten so saturated, and it's harder and harder to fill rooms, you know, and so you started seeing these bigger bands playing like fucking dive bars, and now it's like, and so it's made it so that like if you put on a show, you're playing this little tiny bar, and 50 people, 80 people, 100 people makes it look totally packed, and now it's like fate has once again intervened and just made it so like any band can be a sold out headlining act. It's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing. So yeah, I accidentally had a conversation with Tony V today, and it was just very timely because I knew I was going to be talking to you guys today. So it's fucking great, man. Mikey,
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about Alaska, because the last time I saw you in person, and this is something that's really cool, and I wanted to kind of touch base with you about, is something that I really loved and I really just thought was such a cool thing. Is the last time I saw you in person was at Tony V's in Everett, and you said that, yeah, you know, this looks like it's going to be the last show for a while, and I just kind of need to get out of here, and I'm going to go bum around Alaska for a little while. And you just had this plan to just go take off on your, like, total, like, drifter story, you know, just, I'm just going to hop on my bike and head for Alaska and go tool around up there. And we mention often on this podcast, a friend of mine, shout out to Tyler Gwynn from 10th Mountain Division. My buddy Tyler Gwynn coined this term, Alaska thoughts, which are like the thoughts you get when it's just not working out with the band, or it's not working out in whatever your artistic pursuit may be. And so you just like want to like leave everything behind and go run away to Alaska, you know? So like you actually lived
Literally
out.
did it.
Yeah, you actually did.
Well, we're going to talk about that.
Okay. All right. Tell me about it. Tell me what kind of precipitated the decision. Tell me a bit about your experience, and tell me a little bit about the writing process, because you were sending me demos on a regular basis. Like you were just recording demos on Spire of like cool ass, like dirty country folk, awesome like road songs. And you sent a bunch of them to me. I think I probably got like 5 or 6 songs that you sent me during that time you were in Alaska. So let's start with what led you to move there. Let's start out with the decision.
Well, here's the thing, man. To be clear, I never made it to Alaska.
You never made it to Alaska?
I ran out of money. And I'd already said goodbye to everyone. So I just drove off. I just fucking drove out of Seattle. And I was like homeless down in Portland for a while, just dirt bagging it, peeing in Gatorade bottles. Old ladies taking pictures of me and shit. Get out of my neighborhood. Yeah, you know, it wasn't like, it might not have been like the glorious trip that you imagine, but it was pretty cool.
Hey, that's still pretty glorious. That's fucking hilarious. I thought you were in Alaska the whole time.
No, dude, I ran out of money, you know. I was like, oh, you know what? I'm out of here.
You could have just milked that narrative. You could have just said, yeah, that's where I was, you know, and like this is the moose I killed while I was up there.
Man.
Yeah, you could have told me anything and I would have believed it too.
Dude,
you could have just
all those songs were just recorded in my band. I was living in a fucking shitty band, you know, like just playing music, doing my thing. You know what? It was great. Had a good time.
That's the dream, though. Like anytime I start to entertain the Alaska thoughts, it's always like I'll get a van or a camper and I'll go out on the road and I'll like pull over in rest stops and I'll write every morning and I'll rehearse every afternoon and I'll play gigs every night in whatever small town I'm in and just drift from town to town, just making music and meeting people and living the life of an outlaw troubadour, you know.
Hey, man, I'm playing in the men's room at 6 o'clock. Come on in.
Come on in. Oh, we're all going to be playing in the men's room at 6 o'clock.
Wink, wink.
That's fucking great. So you only made it as far as Portland. That's okay.
Yeah.
Opposite direction.
Opposite direction.
Yeah. Dude, like, and I had this whole joke because I saw your hair, and it's like your hair looks like you know when Gandalf the Grey becomes Gandalf the White?
Yeah.
That was kind of like what immediately popped into my head. I was like, oh, he went through a symbolic death while he was up in Alaska and came back, you know, he died Mikey Highlife and came back Mikey the White or something like that.
Right.
Yeah. It looks good.
Well, Yeah.
It's highlights. They're
Yeah.
highlights.
Did you highlight your hair, or are you just getting old?
No. It's actually just great, man. You know, fucking.
Did you see a monster in Portland or something? Did something like?
I don't know. Like, so, for 10 years, I was working in a refrigerator overnight, right?
Right.
So, like, I was exposed to the sun. And as soon as I, like, got out of there, I think the sun was just like, boom, you're old now.
It's weird, though, because your hair is gray and looks older, but your face looks young. You look young and happy and vibrant and fresh, man. You look good.
That's over the deal with the devil, man. You know, like, that's that's the real Satan shit right there.
So let's talk a little bit about how you went about writing while you were out on the road. Were you writing every day? Like, did you have a regular practice, or was it just kind of when things occurred to you, when you got inspired? How did the writing process go?
Are we talking about the country songs?
Yeah, all the stuff you did while you were traveling.
Oh yeah, it just I just didn't have anything else to do, man. I was playing for like hours and hours every day, because it's fun.
Right.
So the songs just came out of that, but a lot of them are, it's kind of to be honest, like a lot of that was like a dark time in my life. So the songs are pretty dark, but
right.
That's what music's for, man.
Right. Getting the poison out.
You feel better. Suck the poison. Did you say suck the poison out?
You got to get the poison out, man. You gotta get the poison out. It's like you gotta jack the top load, like you were saying.
You gotta pre-jack the top.
Pre-jack the top load. but the thing is like, even though you're writing music from a dark time in your life, the songs were very catchy and they're very good stuff. And I'd love to share them on the show with your permission sometime. But do you have any plans to do anything with that stuff, or did any of it turn into Plagiarizer songs, or what's the plan with the stuff that you came out while you were out there?
Me and my friend Mark have been working on that stuff. So
That's
we've been working on it together, and we kind of took a break when I started Plagiarizer. So I've just been doing this since I think we started Plagiarizer in March.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
You guys started the band right before all the lockdowns and shit.
Yeah.
Oh man. So okay, then that brings me to my next question, which is everybody from the world of music and art that we've had on here, we've been trying to ask them about how they've stayed engaged and busy and creative and kept the band alive during the lockdown, like during quarantine. How has that process been for you guys over the last year?
It was awesome.
Yeah, it was great for us,
Awesome.
man. Every day. We got here, I don't know what it was like there, but here we got a thing that said that it was totally within our rights to practice if we had our own practice space and there were less than 10 people there, right?
Really?
So we're just like, we're practicing all day, every day. And, we basically started with nothing at the beginning of this, and we have a record that we've finished and recorded now.
Are you guys all living in the same place, or you just have a rehearsal space in one of y'all's houses?
We have a rehearsal space that we rent, actually.
Okay. And you're just able to go there whenever you want.
Yep.
That's really cool. Yeah, a lot of the places out here, Tony lives in Chicago, so we can't rehearse anyway, but the rehearsal space that we used to go to, they've been shut down up until Gordo, just a couple weeks ago, right? Yeah, and they had to board up their windows. Like we had businesses all over the city of Denver that just had their windows boarded up, and among them was RocketSpace, which was like the hourly rehearsal spot. So that's really cool that you guys were within your rights to go actually keep it going, because nobody has any other option for anything to do except for go to fucking band practice. It's like a band leader's fucking dream come true, man.
Yeah, right. Well, the information that I got was that it was considered an essential activity for people's mental health. So,
is that state of Washington that came up with that, or is that?
But there were some rules around it. Like you had to. Actually, you couldn't rent like an hourly room or a shared space. You had to have your own space. There were some rules around it. and a lot of people were still not doing it.
There was
But
about people there.
you know, that place was pretty empty most of the time. But we were just like, you know what, we're gonna practice every day, and
that's really fucking cool, man.
That's awesome.
Practice every day. Gordo, can you imagine that? Like being able to
can't. Actually, we just started practicing again like last week. And Terry cleaned up the garage. I didn't even know where I was when I walked in there. I was like, this place looks too clean. What's going on, man? He's like, well, I had a lot of time on my hands. What am I going to do? I'm like, okay, well, I guess that makes a lot of sense.
See, we basically had out here nobody practicing.
right.
Out here, everybody's just been working on other shit. Like, you know, me and Gordo have the podcast. Gordo's got his label and his solo record, and I've been trying to teach myself to play guitar and things like that.
Good job at it too.
Oh, thanks, man. Dude, I've been doubling down on it, dude. Oh, and Gordo, I meant to tell you, I found a guy on YouTube who has a channel called Learn to Ween, and he just only teaches Ween songs. And
That's perfect.
We just
yeah.
talking.
And so
That is perfect.
And so I found him, and I backed him on Patreon that day, and I give him $1 a month, and he's like, dude, thank you so much. I can get guitar strings now. What do you want to learn? Shout out to my dude, Mr. Professor Synthetic Socks, Skyscraper, whatever. Thanks for hooking me up with all the
What's
cool
his
videos.
name?
Well, he was calling himself Synthetic Socks, which is an old, like before Gene Ween was Gene Ween, he had his own project called Synthetic Socks.
Right.
But he's started changing it up on regular episodes, and last I heard it was like Professor Skyscraper or something like that. He does a Ween channel. He's a fucking weird dude, and he's probably on mushrooms while he's recording the videos. But
I would hope so.
yeah. But so I'm just like pouring through those videos, and like I'm on Amazing Slowdowner every day, like trying to learn everything that I can. So like nobody's playing shows, nobody's having band practice. So out here in our scene, at least, it's mostly people honing their skills in video production or their social media content creation or songwriting or, you know, learning to home record. Like I've seen a lot of that. I've seen a lot of people learning how to operate software like OBS, like the software that we use to broadcast our podcast and shit like that. Broadcast your podcast. Anyway, so yeah, that's really cool that you guys were able to practice the entire fucking time. That's really, really great. Jason, I wanted to go back to talk about Des Moines, and you said you got way successful way fast. Can you tell me a little bit about like what that way successful story looked like? Like what went on for you in the band down there?
Absolutely. Well, I don't know if you remember, but I was talking to you in the pre-production process about you coming to sing.
Yeah, you were talking to me about that. I remember that.
The producer was like, I want to hear you sing, and they basically kind of forced me into do it. So
I remember that.
I did the whole record by myself. I learned how to sing. I took some guitar lessons for solos because I didn't know how to do solos, blah, blah, blah. I had marketing people helping me. I had a really successful merch line. Like I got on all the nationals in the Midwest, opening up for major national bands. And
like, so what are some of the highlights? Give me some of the highlights.
Like, do you want me to name drop or?
Yes, please name drop.
I mean, he's gonna fucking punch me when I start saying that.
Why? Come on. Okay, if it gets that bad, Mikey, socially distance yourself. I want to hear the name drops.
Oh yeah, I mean I was playing, you know, theaters and like the arenas there and stuff with like Puddle of Mudddddd and Saliva and bands like that, Nature, Seether and all that shit. And I mean, because I was a southern rock heavy metal band, so I also got on a lot of weird hillbilly hip hop shows.
Cool.
Big Smo, I don't know if you know who that guy is. He had his own, and Fat Jelly or something. I don't know why they kept putting on me these hip hop shows, and people were just like, I would come out all, what's up, you know? And people were like,
dude, it's because the hillbilly hip hop crowd, like they still like the stuff they listened to before hillbilly hip hop was a thing. Hillbilly hip hop is only like what, 15 years old?
It's
Tops?
not very.
It's not very old at all. So before that, they were listening to Puddle of Mudddddd and Leonard Skinner and what else? What else? Oh, Disturbed. Hell yeah, man! I fucking love Disturbed, man. Godsmack. Anybody ever told you remind them of Sully from Godsmack?
You asked what happened when I crashed and burned. So the last week I was rolling. Me and the singer for Puddle of Mudddddd had a rental van, and we were crashing that thing together in the parking lot of the arena that we were playing. The next week, we both got arrested and got sent to fucking treatment and rehab and psych wards and all that stuff. So
Holy
anyway,
shit.
you were asking, and that's what happened. I started making I was actually making money doing music. I was playing. I was teaching music lessons and doing cover things. I had a really nice house, the wife, all the shit I wanted as a little kid, and I got it and I blew it up from my addiction. So
That's rock and roll.
yeah, I lost it all.
Get it, blow it up.
I had a brand new tour van, new trailer, all that shit, man. It was wonderful. It was a experience. Is that your mom? Mom?
Apparently, the video you shared isn't the actual live stream. I just wanted to make you aware of that. That's what Ethan was saying. Yeah. No, but
Can we share this afterwards?
yeah, absolutely, not a problem.
I'll
We can
talk
do it
to
after
you.
the fact. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, man, like you're saying, fucking blowing it all up, man. I have certainly blown it up a couple of times. Blown it up quite a few times.
I
Yeah.
think that's one of our song titles. Pretty sure.
Let's burn it down.
Or burn
actually.
it down.
Yeah,
I burn it down.
Yeah,
Some
light-
people blow it up. I burn the motherfucker
Let's
down.
light it up first and then burn it down.
Slow burn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Burn.
No, I do it pretty quick. Pretty quick.
Kaboom! Yeah. God damn. Yeah, man. If you don't mind me asking, Jason, how much time do you have in now?
I'm at 3 3/4 months, so I'm coming up on 4 years in August.
That is fucking badass, dude.
Yeah. Thank
That is-
you. It's
that
the
is-
first time I played since that whole crash and burn, and it's
So-
been one.
So
I'm with
and you can shut it down at any time, but since you and I have talked about this before and I've had similar experiences, are you doing a program this time, or are you just doing your own thing, just doing your own abstinence?
Yeah, I'm in a program.
Well, yeah. Do you find that you do better in a program? I've heard mixed from different people.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't know why, but I always did worse in a program. Like something about doing the program thing, I just
Too much structure for you.
that might have been it. It might have been that it's too much structure. It might have been timing. It might have just been that I wasn't ready, and I quit drinking and hard drugs because flat out, I mean, I'm smoking a joint in front of you guys right now. I smoke pot, and I have psychedelics maybe twice a year. Probably not at all now that I've got my son, and I can't imagine a situation where I would feel comfortable taking mushrooms knowing that he's at home and something could go wrong at any minute. You know what I mean?
Just give him some mushrooms too. It'll be great.
I did take acid up at the
Trips
studio.
together stays together.
Yeah. Actually, I
Later.
did. One of the whole reasons I took the acid that I had up at Evergroove when we were up in the studio, Gordo, is because I was afraid of my son getting into the drawer that I kept it in and accidentally taking 3 hits of fucking green gel tabs. I was really afraid of coming home to just my wife in a panic going just I don't know what's wrong with him, and just being knowing but not wanting to say that I know what it is, seeing that open container somewhere. Anyway, I took
Like to share, man. I like to share.
finally, son, we can share everything. Anyway, my 1-year-old son, Yeah, and I took acid up at the studio, and it just felt like a waste of time. Like it felt annoying. It felt like an inconvenience. Everybody else was falling asleep, and I'm sitting there by myself at 3 o'clock in the morning watching the Shawshank Redemption, tripping balls. You know, it's like this is a waste of time. But for some reason, I was only able to quit after I got off paper. I was out of court. I didn't have forced monitored sobriety anymore. I wasn't being told I had to go to meetings anymore. And then I had 1 month of fucking up pretty bad, and the realization that I might have to go back to that and go back to being on the monitored piss tests and the threat of jail and the fucking wondering when my color is going to come up when I'm fucking drinking on the weekend and trying to plan the days and failing tests and having to deal with that and getting the inside of my cheek swabbed for DNA because I got a felony for getting drunk while on probation. You know what I mean? Like, stupid horseshit. Something about the threat of going back to that and the threat of the worst that might occur as a result, that did more for me than, like, that and a really great therapist did more for me than I got going to programs. It's probably because of the being forced part. But I keep talking to friends of mine who've done the program thing, and they swear by it. Absolutely swear by it. Yeah, man. So,
That joint just kicked in.
Far out, man.
Yeah.
Heavy.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about the new record.
It's rock and roll, man.
Yeah,
you know?
tell me a little bit about the songwriting process, the studio process, how you guys went about building this thing. The album is called Touched by Darkness is the name of the album.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the title of the album came from my friend Marky. Me and him were talking one night, and he looks at me and he's like, "Man, I got to be honest. I'm kind of afraid of you sometimes. I feel like you've been touched by the darkness." And I was like, "Well, what a great thing for me, you know?" So that's where we got that, you know, and like the songs, we just decided that we're sick and tired of rock and roll not being a good time, you know?
Right.
I remember when bands used to have fun, you know, and play rock and roll like they meant to party, you know? And then sometimes, you know, and I got nothing against the bands of the 90s, man, but somewhere along the way, rock and roll got depressed. And I just want it to be good times, you know?
Oh,
so
yeah, totally.
That's the road we're going down, you know? These guys just let me write whatever I want. It's awesome.
Well, there's a time and a place for everything, right? Like you know, if you want to party, like, are you gonna listen to like happy ass Zydeco music, or are you gonna listen to like typo negative fucking slash your wrists in the bathtub? You know, like,
Hey.
what are you? There's an appropriate context for every kind of music, and sometimes people just want to go out and fucking blow their brains out. They just want to go blow off steam and act crazy and get in touch with the shadow self, as Carl Jung would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So, okay, so it's all just like good time rock and roll stuff. I also wanted to draw people's attention, and I'm going to bring up these pictures of the like actual plagiarizer, the plagiarized covers thing that you guys have been doing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Is that all on your Facebook page?
Yeah, they should be. They should be. I know they're on my personal Facebook page because I posted all of them.
Let me go here. I'm going to bring this up. I got to show these to people. So tell me where the name Plagiarizer comes from, because if the photos you put up are any indicator, I think I know, but tell me a little bit about what inspired the name.
For me, the name Plagiarizer, just, it's not really that we want to steal anything. It's that we recognize that if you're gonna play good rock and roll, somebody else already did it. You know.
Right. Absolutely.
We're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We just want to play something good. You know. So
Right.
in order to do that, we have to. We got to pay tribute to all the bands that we love. You know, and that's what all those record covers are about. It's not about us. It's about us paying tribute to bands that we love. Those are actually, you know, somebody selected me for that 10-day challenge, and I was like, okay, I'm going to give you my 10 real albums, but I'm going to put my name on them.
That's right. Okay, that's what it was. All right.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, no, that was I thought that was a really cool way to go about it, and it was in the early days of quarantine, the early days of the virus, so it's like right when everybody was super like scared, but also trying to be super optimistic about the whole thing. Like, ooh, isn't this crazy, guys? Okay, let's make lots of content and have lots of fun and make lots of videos. And hey, who wants to come onto my page and see me read bedtime stories to my kids? And hey, who wants to watch me and my buddy do socially distanced, you know, live stream jamming in my apartment or out in the park?
I'm
or
converting my greenhouse into a gym. Come on, watch
Yeah,
me.
come
I'm doing
on.
it live. It's so
Come
much
on.
fun.
Come
Like
on,
cut to
check
2
out.
weeks later, and you're like, what the fuck am I doing with my life?
Oh, I know. It like, dude, it went downhill so fast. And
Well, it
it's
can
like,
go downhill, you know. Some people did some pretty productive things, actually, though.
no. So people did, it's like, definitely. People did some very creative things, but it was like, the change in tone was like almost immediate and pretty palpable. Just like seeing how quickly people went to being, okay, I'm on Mikey's Facebook page here. And so we've got, so you did the challenge, you did the video challenge, and so we've got, here, I'm gonna go to full screen on this.
Wait, I want to look at it too. Is it on the Plagiarizer site?
No, it's on
Facebook?
Mikey's personal page. So we've got of course the Slayer Show No Mercy,
All right.
which is fucking hilarious. Okay, so we've got the Slayer Show No Mercy. We've got the Thin Lizzy Jailbreak Plagiarizer. That's great. That's a really good one. Let's see what else we got here. We've got the AC/DC mock-up there, the Highway to Hell cover. The Too Fast for Love Plagiarizer. I like your font work there. That's really good. Your Blue Oyster Cult.
A lot of people didn't know what that one was, man. They were just like, I was like, what? That's a great record. How do you not know what that is?
See, that's how you know the real motherfuckers and the posers, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you know. Let me see here. We've got our Motorhead Plagiarizer here.
Can't live without Motorhead, man.
Can't live without Motorhead, dude. I actually I just got in the mail my Motorhead face mask.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's like the little like snaggletooth area, covers up your face nicely for going to work and terrifying people. It's nice. We've got our Judas Priest Plagiarizer. I like your font work there as well. Let's see what. Oh, the Iron Maiden self-titled Plagiarizer album. I like that. These are fucking great, dude. How many of these did you do? The Metallica.
We did 13 because I did 10 for me, and then the other guys each got one.
That's
Extra.
fucking great. The Metallica mock-off Plagiarizer. The Scorpions. Hey, I like that. That's really good. Who
We
did the
thought
fuck?
about making t-shirts out of some of that shit because it's so funny, you know.
Dude, it's fucking cool. Did you do all the font work on it?
No, a friend of mine, Robin Warren, did that for me.
Yeah, it's very cool, man. It's very fucking cool. Yeah. I think we should actually listen to a little bit of the album if you guys are into it. I want to play some of this for people.
I'm into it.
What's your favorite one off of Touched by Darkness here?
I think my favorite one's On Through the Night.
All right.
I think that's probably my favorite. Maybe Hail Satan Rock and Roll. That's fun too.
Hail Satan, rock and roll. So tell me what the deeper meaning is of that one. All right. On Through the Night. Let's check this out.
It's really good.
He just said really good. Can you guys hear it on that end? Probably not, huh?
No.
Yeah, I'm not
It's
hearing
really
it.
good.
He's hearing it over there, obviously.
Just him? Just by himself? Hey,
Yeah, just he's like rocking out. He's like,
I'm proud of
hear
it.
this. I wish the world could hear this. I mean, it's on the stream, right?
Yeah, it's on the screen.
Okay. So yeah, everybody else is hearing it, but us.
The whole world, but so it's like me rocking out by myself, and then anybody who's watching at home like, yeah, that's pretty cool. And everybody else on the show just like politely waiting. And you're singing on this, Mikey?
Yeah, I was like scared to death of that actually, 'cause I never sang for a rock and roll band before, and I was like, we started off trying to find a singer, and we couldn't find one. And I was like, you know what, I'll give it a shot. Let's try it.
It's pretty rad, man. It is pretty fucking rad.
What's happening now?
Really awesome twin guitar licks. How does the song sound? Is it good? Describe the song to me. Describe it. Okay. On through the night.
Yeah.
Round. On through the night. Yeah, see?
You got
Picked
it,
it up.
man.
See,
Why
I
I should talk to you about singing.
Dude, you were sending me like the early recordings of you jamming, and I thought your voice sounds absolutely perfect for this. Like I'm flattered by the invitation, but it's like, dude, you're so like you sound so perfect for this fucking band, man. Like I want to pass this along to Gordo. You know who would really love this record, and you're just gonna have to take my word for it since you couldn't hear it either. You know who would really love this is Reed from Overdose.
Oh yeah.
Would really love this. This is like right up his alley, dude. Just like
I know.
badass, good time motorcycle rock. Like it's fucking cool, man. It sounds so good. Where'd you guys record it at?
We did it at the practice space and right here. You know, we didn't pay anyone. We just did it ourselves.
Nice.
No fucking way, really.
Right here, Sean's on
He
it.
did everything.
Some dude, yeah, you're
All
a
right,
dude after
Sean.
my own heart.
Sean,
to
you've
keep it
been
real.
pretty quiet through this whole thing, man. Let's
Yeah,
talk.
man, I like to listen. You know, I have not a lot to say, but yeah, we so basically what ended up happening with that whole thing is we decided to do some recording just to kind of get a sense of what the song sounded like, right? Just kind of see we weren't blowing smoke up our asses about these being good, right? And so we recorded some stuff and quick drum setup. You know, I think I had 6 mics or something like that. Maybe not even the first pass. I think it was like 4 mics maybe. And we just kind of banged it out and brought 2 of them back here to do guitars and vocals and stuff like that, and then kind of realized that it sounds better than we thought it was going to be a scratch thing, right?
Right.
And it just kind of built from that. I did a really simple, you probably don't want to know about the technique stuff
Yes,
or whatever.
we do.
Well, you
Yes,
do.
we do.
Oh, like I'm a big fan of like the Glenn Johns drum miking setup. So
You're speaking Gordo's language now, by the way.
Absolutely.
so essentially, it's a minimalistic type of approach, but it's overheads in a weird kind of angle. Some different things.
Go over the shoulder.
Yeah, well, there's one that kind of comes in from the side, right?
Yeah.
And then there's another that goes directly, equidistance from the snare, obviously. And so I did that stuff. Single kick drum mic on the outside, actually. There was nothing on the, well, actually, it was kind of on the inside. Just used a 52. And so did that and brought it back here. And, basically, I've been a Pro Tools guy forever, and I dumped it. And I'm using Studio One now because I love it. I think it's
right on.
So I'm doing that. And yeah, man, we just like one Perlman microphone for vocals, a tube mic, which is like a U87 or U47 clone. And some really cool pre's. I got some like Neve pre's and some different things like that we're using. And super direct setup. Mikey's got his he just got a beautiful custom Firebird, which is great guitar. And so we just kind of did everything it's really simple and kind of down the middle, right? Nothing super fancy, but I'm a huge, I record in the digital world, but I want to use as much tube and analog gear as I can. I'm a big fan of the slate stuff, so I use that, the tape saturation and different things like that. Want to keep the music.
You can hear it.
Yeah, the music fits and belongs in an analog world because the stuff that we, our heroes are all from the analog world, right? So
right, and if you're trying to recreate those sounds, you want to get as close to the setup that they had at the time.
Absolutely, and I'll tell you what, the place that I've done some, various recording and different things all over the place, and my first runs with all that stuff in my first studio setup was an 8-track Tascam,
Bitchin'.
and a big old fucking Soundcraft tucked and rolled 24-channel 4-bus old board, you know what I mean, old English thing, and if I had the ability to do it right now, I'd still be running tape, at least to hit tape, and then I would do editing digitally. But right now, the way things are set up, I don't have that, so I try to do whatever I can. And it's a constant learning curve about how to make our music come off as something that, is a nod back to that stuff, because personally, there's great records that are done right now that are like straight up like modern sounding. It doesn't fit, in my opinion, like with what we're doing. We're huge Motorhead fans, old Scorpions, old Iron Maiden, Priest, all that stuff, all those records that you saw, and all that stuff hit tape, and
you can really hear it. I mean, it's been. So here's a question I have for you, Sean.
Sure.
The thing that we've run into throughout our entire career, recording career anyway, has been the inability, up until really recently on the last sessions that we've been doing up at Evergroove, to really be able to communicate the way that we want an album to sound. Like there's always been something that gets lost in translation between what I have in my head and then communicating that, articulating that to whatever engineer / producer is working on it. So how do you go about taking what's in your head as far as what you want it to sound, or the models that you are following, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, Motorhead? How do you facilitate taking that sound out of your head and putting it onto the tape and onto the final product?
I have an advantage over most engineers, I think. And And what that is that I don't do it for a living. And I'll tell you why I say that is because I think that there's a lot of engineers that they do this for a living, and they produce all kinds and record all kinds of music, right? So they're constantly in this battle of doing stuff that they don't necessarily want to be doing, but they do it because it's a living thing, right? And that's great. That's, I mean, if you can do that, it's awesome. But for me, I never got too far outside of recording what I always wanted to hear, right?
Right.
There was never a big trench in between that. And another thing that I think really happens, and I do this too, and I have to stop myself, is that we are inundated as engineers nowadays to belong to Plugin Alliance, and here's 5 plugins for $20. Pick all the, and you have these massive libraries, and I have a massive library too. But getting good with 3 or 4 tools like an EQ, and getting good with and finding and going through all that stuff and using very minimal variance in that, right?
Yeah,
I think it's really easy to get
my language completely.
Yeah, and I think that's as somebody that like started with tape, and then I started at the end of the 90s doing digital recording, only because I've never been super responsible with work, and so I've always had to live with other people, right? And I didn't want to haul around like a whole bunch of tape stuff and all that, and that's why I kind of dumped that thing in the beginning, because I was moving around a lot, and it seemed really convenient to go in the box, right, to do this thing. It was great, but I couldn't achieve those things either. And I tried with all kinds of different software, and software's gotten better, and things have gotten good, and it's really addictive. And I get into the thought pattern that, well, if I do that, then I don't have to learn how to really use compression, because look at all the presets, right? I don't properly learn what's going on, and I see a lot of people doing that. And like I said, that's on a put down. I've done that stuff myself. So what I've tried to do is really pay attention and push the tools that I choose to use. And I will tell you right now that most of the stuff that I use is digital renditions of old analog gear.
Right.
And so I try to pull all of that stuff and use it with our recordings. And I think that I'm learning all the time, right? And I think that's another thing, is not closing that book and thinking that you're always there and experimenting with different things. And I was honestly really pretty impressed with, I mean, Jason's playing the drums. We were able to capture some really good things that, like, I think that were way outside of the scope of what I expected, which is why we kind of pushed it into where it was. And Mikey,
not to throw him under the bus here, but so did you have to do a lot of drum edits, or was he just clean and on top of it and a fucking savage through the whole thing?
So I kind of tried to control it a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay, we're going to go in and we're going to do this. We're going to do a click track, and we're going to blah, 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 blah. And it got to the point where I was building these clicks up, and I would throw like a guitar track on there and a vocal, and it would just be like, so we'd throw that on there, and then the click would start. And the last 2 songs, I think it was, he just literally played it by memory with no audio at all coming in there. He did like a Dave Grohl first record kind of thing, right, with the Foo Fighters. And just went in there and just executed it, got everything done, and we were out of there. I think we probably didn't spend more than an hour on each one of those songs with him doing takes.
God damn.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Very well done.
Get it right the first time around.
My job was super easy. You know what I mean? Like, it was just really obvious, like, when we got it. Same with this guy, and who had never really, he said he'd never done any rock singing or anything. We just set the stuff up, and it's like, dude, I would love to have you probably do some more takes, but I don't think we need to. I think we're done.
It sounds good. It
And we
sounds
just
dirty and fun and raw and loud. It's fucking perfect, man.
Yep. And we just didn't push it, man. You know, it's like we tried to keep the feeling. We didn't beat it to death, and we just left it that way. And
well, if you've got good songs, you've got good songs. If you've got good players, you got fucking good players, man. Like it's like this is a group of professional musicians and people who have been doing this for a long time, and you know, I don't think, you know, for those who don't know, like, All My Heroes Are in Hell, like, as far as an All Bets song went, like, that song was an outlier. That was not the type of stuff that you guys generally wrote in that band. And the stuff that you guys generally wrote in that band was really heavy, really fast, like, really precise, just amazing hardcore and metal and punk rock stuff. And you guys you have this acumen for being able to play that particular type of intense rock and roll music. And man, it's like, seriously, it's like someone just extracted that element out of All Bets, just purified that element out of it, put it into another environment, and it just flourished into something completely different. It's really amazing, man. It's really good stuff. It's a great record. Sean, you did a fan-fucking-tastic job on this record. Like, the mix on it sounds terrific. It's just really cool to hear such a passion for building that sound that you like so much. You know, it's like, the only way I know how to communicate with an engineer, and this is something I wish I'd learned when I was much younger, and something that I would encourage young bands to do is to get familiar with your reference material and go into the studio with that reference material in mind to communicate to the engineer. You know, if you just go in and you're trying to throw a bunch of made-up adjectives at the engineer, like, I don't know, I just think it should sound a little brighter here, maybe, or like a little warmer here, maybe just a little grittier, a little dustier. Like,
See, those are actually good. Those are good adjectives, though. Like those are
they're
actually
good
useful.
adjectives. They're good adjectives, but an engineer is generally to have a different idea of what those adjectives mean than you do. Like, it's going to mean a different thing in their mind, especially terms like warmth and brightness and grit and things like that. That's going to probably mean something sonically to them that is like a quantifiable, measurable setting on their EQ or something like that. When you're thinking you want the vocal characteristic of the way they had Axl's vocals dialed in on Appetite for Destruction, or the way that the drums sound on fucking and Justice for All, or something like that. Like, being able to go, this is the kind of vibe that we're going for. This is the way that we want the drums to sound. This is the way that we want the guitars to sound. Here are the bands that we're referencing in that, and be able to cite those specific examples.
I want the bass guitar sound from And Justice for All. That's
Yeah.
what
What I want. I tried to tell him that. And he's like, I'm the bass player.
we just listened to that, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah, we just listened to And Jason for All, or whatever it was.
How is it?
It's wonderful.
A
Yeah.
lot of people poo-poo him because he had big shoes to fill, you know, whatever. But his
Metallica
cool.
fans are mean, man. Metallica fans are fucking mean. Just
Well,
mean,
I mean,
nasty
That was the
people.
man, though. You
Cliff
know?
was pretty special though, so it's kind of understandable. But he did a good job on that record.
Well, I mean, absolutely. And I mean, here's the thing. I love Cliff Burton, you know, but you know, they want their favorite band to keep going, right? So like the people who, I feel like they did Jason Newsted dirty in that band. You know, I think I don't think he had the opportunity for as much ownership in that, like in assuming that position as I think he was entitled to, and especially getting almost completely mixed out of that album, like if not entirely mixed out of that album. That was pretty fucked up, man. Like I would never do that to one of my bandmates.
Have you ever seen the clip of the producer talking about that?
Yeah.
No, I haven't. I've heard about it, but I haven't seen it. What's it about?
It's pretty amusing. It's really amusing to watch, you know. Because like the way he described it, basically he describes it as mostly it lies on Lars's shoulders, you know.
Right.
So like,
of course,
he came in and he's like, bring up the drums. Like, first of all, he's trying to have his own, drum mix that he has concocted, using whatever preamps and stuff that he has there. Then like the engineer and the producer comes in and is like, yeah, I don't know that this really sounds the best, kind of scraps that whole scene, comes up with something else, and Lars is like, what the fuck is this? Like, take it back to the way I had it. And then like when it came time to do the bass, basically he's just like, okay, now take the bass down to where you can barely hear it, and then take it down another 4 dB or something like that is what he said. Like, and it's just like, what the fuck? Like, that is crazy. And then he talks about running into him at an awards show, and like, Lars has been hearing about this no bass thing on And Justice for All for years or whatever. He's like, yeah, so what's up with this no bass thing on that album? He asked him, and he was just, and he's like, I looked at him like he was fucking crazy.
He is fucking crazy, dude.
That's kind of a, just my shitty summary, but like I thought
really
that was a very hilarious story.
God
about
damn.
kind of a tragic event.
Yeah, and I'll bet Jason Newsted saw that and heard that anecdote and was like, "What the fuck?" Like, so he doesn't even remember cutting me out of the album. Like, he doesn't even remember that it was a conscious decision on his part. That is so fucked up.
Either that, or he was just like, "Oh, that sounds about right."
Yeah, totally.
Jason's over it by now. Is probably like,
Yeah. He's got what was his project that he
Echo
went
Brain.
to focus on? Scramble Head, is that what it was?
His new band, Newstead.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
All right. So, guys, tell me what is next on the agenda for you? Like, shows and tours, new album, like what's coming down the pike for you guys? What's the plan?
Well, we got 2 shows on the books right now that we don't know if are gonna actually happen or not. They're both in August 14th and 15th, and those are actually our first shows. This band's so new that we put out the record before we even played a show. We do plan on touring. We have a 7-inch coming out any day now as well, but we don't really have a way of selling it. I guess we could sell it on Bandcamp and from the bars. No shows. The world's shut down right now.
Dude, you can sell records on the internet. Like, you can
Possible.
sell.
I've done it.
You can sell some. You're not going to sell a lot, but you can sell some on the internet. I went and bought a postal scale and a shipping label printer, and got the stamps.com membership and all that shit, and went and got a bunch of vinyl shipping boxes. And out of everything that we've ever sold on Big Cartel on our merch store, our vinyl, even though people maybe listen to vinyl one time, they maybe listen to it one time and then it goes on their shelf. If they really love the record and they're really into listening to vinyl, they may play it a few times. But for the most part, people just listen to your stuff on Spotify or Apple Music, and they have the record just as something to have in their collection. And I mentioned this on the podcast before, and there was actually a guy who worked at Wax Trax here in Denver who was like, as someone who sells records for a living, he was like, people get it backwards. They do like 3/4 of their order as black vinyl, and then 1/4 of their order as like some sort of specialty color vinyl. And they sell those, and that's supposed to be a big selling point. He goes, you should go the opposite way and make 3/4 of your order some sort of special limited edition colored vinyl, and then the other quarter to just be black vinyl. He goes, because the people who are going to buy the black vinyl are people who actually listen to records and know that the black vinyl sounds better and lasts longer and is just a more durable piece of media. But a majority of the people who are going to buy vinyl records are going to want the colored record, and in his words, he said, mostly just to reinforce their lifestyle. Like, mostly just to have something on their shelves so that when they have people over digging through their records, they can be like, oh, yeah, I got that Mastodon test pressing because I've got a buddy. Or, oh, yeah, I've got this, colored vinyl, this agoraphobic nosebleed, like clear vinyl and da-da-da-da. It's like, I've never listened to that fucking thing. I don't listen to that shit. I listen to fucking Brandy, You're a Fine Girl, and fucking Chicago, I'm a Man, and podcasts about weird, crazy bullshit, and science fiction stories. I'm like, you can sell a shitload of records even though, like, people are not consuming music that way, I guess is my point. So, like, I think if you guys put out a record, like put out a vinyl record, even with no shows on the books, I'll bet you would, in fact, I would guarantee that if you set everything up, you would sell more records than I've ever sold online, just because of who you guys are, and people have been following the story of the band, and people know other bands, and the individuals that are in the band, like, have, like, major cool guy points. I think you guys should do it.
Well, like I said, the record, we have a 7-inch coming out. We should be getting it any day now.
Right. And
our plan is to make a full-length record, we have the songs written now. We're just trying to learn them.
Right.
Then we'll record the rest of the record. What we released already is pretty much just an EP, and it needs the other half.
I mean, how long is it? Let me take a look here. How long is this whole fucking record?
Probably 17 minutes,
Probably 17. Wait a minute. You can fill the rest out with talking. You know what I mean? Like, you've got a killer opening set right there. Go get yourself on some fucking big nationals when they open up again. Sell them out for 80 people, dude. I think you guys are gonna come out right on time, man.
Yeah. On this record, so the song "Hail Satan," we played this joke on our guitar player, and we had this other guitar player come in, my friend Marky from Zeke.
Right.
Played a solo. He came in and recorded the solo, and I sent it to Josh, our actual guitar player, and was like, hey, I worked up this solo. Could you learn it by Thursday? It's just something I've been working on. And he called me immediately and was like, dude, I can't fucking play that, He's like, why am I even in the band? You can play that. So, that's a really funny joke, and it was so good we just kept it. So that's why on that record it says solo by Blind Marky Feldstone, and he's a really good friend of mine, and he did a really good job on that.
Yeah, there it is.
Cool.
Blind Marky Feldstone.
Blistering, by the way.
He just shredded it, dude.
It's
so
amazing.
funny. Yeah,
dude, we had when we were working on the Thieves of Thunder album, we did Logan had to leave for work early, and this is when we were recording with Steve Goldberg from Cephalic Carnage.
Okay.
And so they play really, really techie, jazz-inspired fucking grindcore shit. Like,
yeah.
They are very, very high-level musicians, and it's less about, like, writing a catchy tune and more about, like, an assemblage of, like, crazy patterns and riffs and sounds and textures and shit like that. Like, it's not toe-tapping music. It's, like, standing in the corner at a show going kind of like really intense grindcore stuff. And so everybody in the band is fucking phenomenal. And Logan had to leave, and we had started working on Hall of Champions, and Nick from Cephalic happened to be there early for rehearsal. And Steve just kind of looks at Logan and goes, hey, you mind if fucking Nick takes a crack at it while you're at work? And Nick also plays in Havoc. I don't know if you know who Havoc is, but they're this, they're this like awesome thrash band that toured with Megadeth and shit like that. And so Steve's like, yeah, Nick can just lay something down as a little placeholder while you're gone. And Logan's like, oh yeah, that sounds cool. Whatever, fine. Logan leaves for work, and Nick is just playing the most insane fucking bass licks I've ever heard in any one of our songs ever. And, Logan's rad at what he does, the straight ahead, Lemmy Kilmeister fucking power bass sludge shit. It's awesome. He's a great rock and roll bass player. But this is like top level fucking jazzy runs and just sounds amazing. And we get the dailies over to Logan, and I'm like, dude, this is really amazing. I think we should keep it, and I think you should learn to play this. And Logan kind of hems and haws for a minute, and he goes, man, it kind of feels like somebody put their fingers in my girlfriend. And they were better at it than I am. I don't want to keep it. So I don't know. We didn't end up keeping it, but somewhere on a hard drive is fucking the most amazing bass licks on Hall of Champions with fucking Nick playing that shit. I wish I just had that to like release to patrons or something like that. It's so fucking good. Speaking of which, let's give a shout out to our sponsors here real quick. First and foremost, oh yeah, what the hell? We'll start with our patrons. We love you guys. Thank you so much for everything that you do. Our patrons get access to early and exclusive content. They get VIP parties with beer and food. They get, tickets to shows where there's only 50 or 80 available. They get them ahead of everybody else. They get original
limited edition.
Limited edition.
Limited edition and limited capacity. They're limited in every single way.
Yeah, ultra
exclusive.
Limited. Exclusive limited content. Exclusive early limited content just for our patrons. And they get this because they help us out with a small monthly contribution via our Patreon page at patreon.com/MFRuckus. You guys make the goddamn world go round. Thank you so much for your continued support. It's going to go towards printing. This month we're getting ready to do something really cool. We're getting ready to release the next issue of our comic book, The Front Lines of Good Times, Volume 3, and Volume 4, Volume 3, and included in it is going to be a flexi single. We're doing a limited edition flexi single of Acropolis Now, and that's going to be available worldwide here very soon, so stay tuned for that. Our patrons are helping make that possible. Thank you so much for the support, guys. Evergroove Studio in beautiful Evergreen, Colorado, atop Black Mountain. 70% solar-powered recording studio. Really amazing people. Actually, Ethan, their tech guru, is our tech guru, and he's in the other room right now doing homework for the next episode of the podcast, making it better and better every time. He just put in these really amazing cards that flip and do all sorts of cool animated shit, and cleaned up our episode descriptions and all that shit. He does amazing work. He's a great guy. And we love Brad and Jenny and everybody up at Evergroove. They do amazing, amazing work. Go to evergroove.com and see them about your next project. RocketSpace Rehearsal Studios, as I mentioned, they just opened back up. So if you're looking to have some band practice at a clean, safe, secure, affordable hourly rehearsal space with like fully equipped rehearsal space, RocketSpace is the best there is in the game, man. Kate, who runs the place, is fucking awesome. We had her on the show. It was one of the most popular episodes we had of the podcast. She's awesome. People love that chick. Yeah, go check them out, man. RocketSpace, you ain't got to carry shit. Burn TV. This is, of course, a production out of Burn TV Studios here at an undisclosed location in Denver, Colorado. Burn TV is home to the motherfucking podcast, the Nug Nation, and a bunch of other great content. If you haven't seen the Nug Nation, go to thenugnation.com and see any of the great stop-motion episodes featuring characters made from real weed getting into real shenanigans. Check it out, thenugnation.com. Flipside music, life is short. Go make some noise. Ike is busy at it. The guys are busy at it. They've got a great YouTube channel where they have their series, What the FAQ, where they talk about common gear questions. And, man, they really have the know-how around there. They know their shit. They know guitars. They know gear. They have the largest selection of effects pedals in the region. That is a true factual fact. Go check them out. They're open for business. Wear a mask, though. Don't be a dick. Matula Plumbing. Matula! Shit rolls downhill. Don't be at the bottom. Your number 2 is our number 1 priority. Your shit is our bread and butter. Angie's List Super Service Award winner back in 2011, the only year that mattered. After that, it got all political. Master of Poopers himself, he'll wear the booties for you if you need your shit piped out and you are in the Des Plaines or Chicago area. Tell Jerry Matula the boys sent you.
I think that he's enjoying a big uptick in business thanks to this podcast.
Oh, yeah. Dude, we saved his business. Not a doubt in my mind. Like, Jerry Matula would be nothing without this podcast.
Yeah, during the pandemic, or he could help with their plumbing issues.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Tula.
he's stayed busy this whole time, I'm sure. I mean, people don't stop pooping just because they get the Rona. In fact, if anything, they're probably pooping more. Although not as substantially. Mutiny Information Cafe. This is, of course, a Mutiny transmission. Mutiny Information Cafe at 2 South Broadway. I just went over there and said hi to Jim Norris and Vinny Fasano and Joshua Finley and Donovan and Rocky and everybody who's working
on the wall over there.
Yeah, they're working on the new mural over there, and it looks badass, dude. Like, I haven't seen Vinny in forever, and his art looks great. Josh is just fucking killing it right now. But they are staying alive over there at the coffee shop, man. Go stop by, wear a mask, get some records, get some comic books, get some coffee, some cereal. Eventually there will be live performances again. And, yeah, man, it's really an amazing place. They do really, really great things for the city of Denver and cool stuff worldwide. Mutiny is everything. Check them out. Tell them the boys sent you. If you're just joining us, I am here with my good buddies, Sean, Mikey, and Jason from the band Plagiarizer. Their new album, Touched by the Darkness, their new EP, Touched by the is available at plagiarizer666.bandcamp.com. Let's get that on there so that everybody can see it. Yeah, that shit is badass. Badass. Released June 8th, 2020, in the middle of a goddamn pandemic, man. They wrote this record. They managed to keep a band alive during a fucking global pandemic, and hats off to you guys for making it work. I'm super stoked on the music. I'm super stoked on you guys. Sean, I'm super stoked on what you did for making this record sound great, everything that you contributed to it. It's fucking amazing, man.
Glad you like it. Thanks.
Yeah, I like it a lot. So, is there anything else? Like, where can people find you guys? What are the socials? Yeah. Do your plug.
Sure.
Well, currently, I mean, we're distributing things through DistroKid, right? So
right.
we're everywhere as far as like streaming services go. As far as the socials go, this is the stuff that's kind of been what we'd like to have somebody do, actually. But
right.
Facebook is pretty much, I would say, the location, probably the band page right now. I'm having somebody work up, a landing page and all that stuff. So Facebook or Bandcamp would be the locale right now as far as social goes. Not really a whole lot of other stuff going on.
Hey, Gordo, what are your thoughts on, like, do you think that for bands, Facebook is still the place to go? Like, do you think it's still the #1 outlet, or has that fucking died? Because I don't really see.
I think it depends. I mean, I think it's.
If you pay for it.
In the past, like couple of years, I think we've seen things splinter off significantly to different social media platforms, depending on what you do and who you are. It seems like, places like SoundCloud, there's a lot of hip hop going on over there. Facebook is still relevant. You still kind of got to have it, but you can still do, I think, a lot more creative stuff on Instagram, probably.
Right.
And then, Twitter, who the fuck knows? I don't know. I mean, like,
I feel
some
like
people
Twitter
use it really
is
effectively, but I haven't figured out how to do that successfully for what we do.
I feel like bands on Twitter is just a colossal time suck. Like I kind of feel like Twitter is just for like journalists and politicians and the people that want to yell at them. Like
that's very true.
That's just kind of what it seems like. And Facebook, it just seems like, dude, I feel like we do nothing unless we pay for it. Like we reach maybe a couple hundred feeds, and that maybe converts into a few engagements. But
if you want to reach anybody, you really have to put the bucks down.
I mean, their ad tools do work. Do you guys have a lot of experience with mastering social media? Like, no, not at all.
It's a nightmare.
It sucks,
it sucks. Dude. It's not. Yeah, there's nothing really fun about it.
So
I think our album is like, we've got it out there, and the hopes are always that we just have that stuff just kind of grow organically. It's like if somebody wants to hear the Plagiarizer record and someone else wants to kick it to them, we want to make sure that they can send a link via, hey, dude, do you have Spotify? I do. Yeah, here, boom.
Right.
And you have this, and do you have that? And that's kind of the important thing right now. We have a home base where people can go, and I think that like down the road, obviously, we'll probably get somebody that's going to handle. We just been doing all this stuff ourselves, and it's just like, it's with everything else that needs to be spent on the recording, the writing, the practicing, the this, that, and the other, and all that. It's like, who's got time?
Yeah, I know. And so I'm on a couple weeks ago, I took the Facebook app, Instagram app, and Twitter app off my phone. Just because I got tired of just watching people fight and destroy each other. Like it's really horrible to watch. And I'm sorry, I'm not a fan of doxing. Even if someone's a piece of shit, I'm not a fan of doxing. Like, it puts people's lives in danger, and, like, you can destroy a person's livelihood because of one misstep. And I don't know, man. Like, people could argue about that, but I think it's a fucked up practice. I personally don't like it. I don't like docking. Yeah. It's very similar.
Hey, I don't see how that's ruined anybody's life.
Yeah.
They're similar. They do have to do with dicks. They do have to do with dicks slamming into each other. So, yeah, they're very similar. And also I was starting to see a lot of brutality porn. People just sharing video after video of people getting their ass kicked, or it's either people being beat up by cops, or people beating up cops, or people beating up each other, or like people getting their heads bounced off the concrete and buildings getting burned down. And it just got to the point where I was like, dude, this is causing me derangement. Like, I can't be on it. So I got rid of all those apps, but they've still got me by the balls, because I've got to keep the band app so that we can broadcast this podcast and so that people can find us. You know, if Facebook is the platform that they look for people, you know, when we do have money to throw down on ads, they are really effective. We just did a big ad push for our merch store, and, you know, we doubled our money. You know, we sold a fair bit of stuff and we're able to do things because of it. So it is a useful tool, but I also just feel like ethically opposed to the mechanics of the platform, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
it seems that either these platforms have been deliberately designed to reward the most insane behavior, or we're just a bunch of monkeys and we haven't figured out how to work it yet. I haven't figured it out, but it's like, so I'm trying to like find a balance of being able to use those platforms in a positive way and in a way that actually reaches the people who care about our shit without getting sucked into it, you know? And we don't have a Bandcamp. And so I saw the Bandcamp up here, and I'm wondering what kind of engagement you guys have just seen from the Bandcamp so far. Like, that seems to be the place for music right now, where a lot of, like, independent bands are going.
Well, we put the Bandcamp on, I mean, we posted it on our Facebook, and
Right.
I think within the first 24 hours, we had 700 plays
Of the album.
of the album without
What?
even,
That's awesome.
not even playing a show, you know? So that was really cool. I wasn't expecting that at all.
That's
Like,
really good. Those are really
Yeah.
good numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're over 1,000 plays on that, which is pretty crazy. And that's just, again, it's social media, but it is organic in a way because people are spreading that around. We're not doing that, right? And we're getting, you know, some nods from some people out of country too.
Yeah, somebody's playing us
So,
on their radio podcast in Spain tomorrow.
So what do you think
Awesome.
was behind getting those listens on Bandcamp? Was it because you contacted me directly and sent me a link to the album? So was it you guys were doing like all the groundwork and just sending it to people, or do you think it came from sharing it on Facebook, or is there something in Bandcamp where new music gets distributed to different streams? Like, what do you think is behind that?
We have awesome friends. I mean, you know, we have people that are actually social, you know, in our lives that like actually reach out and do that kind of stuff. And I think that's really what it is, because it's literally our friends that are kicking that around, and really positive feedback on the record too.
Personally,
It rips. It's fucking great.
we have to attribute it to Satan. There's that.
Yeah.
Hats off to Satan.
Yeah, hats off to Satan. Thanks,
Rock
bud.
on.
Rock and roll, man.
Yeah. Well, it's fucking great. It's a great record. You guys, I hope you have all the success in the world with it, and because if you guys are particularly successful, it probably means you'll come on a tour to Denver and I'll get to see you, or you'll be together long enough that we can come out there and play with you guys. I'd really love that. And I'm just, Jason and Mikey specifically, I'm so fucking glad you guys are still playing music. Like, Jason, I'm so glad to see your face, man. I'm so glad to like see you out in the world fucking jamming and shit. It's really cool. It's really fucking great.
Real fun. Thank you.
It's always good to, you know, you think of yourself as a lifer when you're a young person. You're like, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. You know, oh, I love it. And you like think about it, but it's this like abstract concept. And then once you get 15, 20, 25 years into it and you realize all the living and the blood, sweat, and tears that go into it, and the birth and death and building and destruction and annihilation and rebuilding again that goes into that period of time. It's like, you know, there's a lot of our people who don't make it to really be lifers. Like they kind of disappear one way or another. and it has been so great to see you guys keep it up all the time that I've known you, at least. And I hope I get to see many more years of you guys fucking jamming and making kick-ass music. Like, you guys have made some of my favorite music. Seriously.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Seriously. So, again, the new album is Touched by Darkness. It is by Plagiarizer. And you should go to their Bandcamp, which is plagiarizer666.bandcamp.com. Check out the new album. We're actually going to let it play here through the end of the episode before we cut off the stream. We'll go out with one more. This is going to be, we haven't done the one for the homies shout out in a while, so we're going to get back into that with giving a one for the homies shout out to our boys in Plagiarizer with their jam, Hail Satan, Rock and Roll. Here on the motherfucking podcast, I'm Aaron Howell.
Gordo.
And we'll catch you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Sounds fucking great. I can't wait to actually listen to it, like, not on a phone.
Oh, Gordo, are you listening to it with a little bit of delay?
Yeah, I'm listening to it on my phone because I'm like, I need to hear this.
So you're hearing it like a moment late.
I'm hearing it like a moment late, yeah. Do you want to get my minute late reaction to everything that happens in this song? I'm gonna turn it down because, like, it's probably gonna do some weird haptic feedback.
Hey, how does it sound streaming music on the actual live stream?
Oh, I think it sounds good, but, you know, I am on a cell phone, so I don't know. Like, you know, what sounds good on a cell phone? Like, nothing. Like, not even a phone call sounds good on a cell phone. So, you know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't. I love seeing the closed captioning at the bottom too. It's just my favorite part. You see this, it's all wrong. It's completely wrong. There's nothing right.
Ruckus.